Dustin Brohm. We are live on the Bucky Beeman audio adventure.
Bum, bum, bum. What's up, Bucky?
Someday I'll get some intro music that will be rocking, get us jacked up. Honestly, what I've done in the past is just turned on Spotify in the background. Like, what song do you want to listen to?
Nice. Maybe some Gladys Knight, maybe some Fleetwood Mac. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I literally don't know any of their songs. That just sounded random to me.
Dustin, thank you for joining me today. I am excited to learn more about what you've been up to in the real estate world since I've seen you last. I feel like it's been forever. And
it has been. Yeah. And there's been people questioning whether or not you're actually alive. So this is proof, and this is fantastic. So I'm glad you're still kicking.
And I'm excited to learn about, I was following it online, your 2021 adventure, your GaryVee experience.
Yes. Yeah, that was an experience for sure.
So let's dive right into it, Dustin. What have you been up to in the real estate world since we've last talked?
Cool. Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that I've been working on outside of, continuing to sell homes and focusing on Search Salt Lake, but a year ago, just barely over a year ago, I launched the Massive Agent podcast for agents and loan officers. It's a real estate marketing podcast. And my whole goal is to just give people ideas and strategy and perspective and insight to sell more homes and to have better marketing and, just like how to be a better real estate marketer, which ultimately helps you sell more homes and close more loans. So that's been a lot of fun. I've really been seeing a lot of opportunity with that. Personally, like I'm not going to lie, like there's a lot of business opportunity for myself, but I'm also seeing at the same time how many people need someone to grab them by the ears and just kind of like shake them and be like, like you're doing shit wrong, or like what you were doing 10 years ago is no longer effective. Like you got to pivot. And I'd say most of our industry, the residential side is where I'm at. I know you're on the commercial side, and I know it's the same on your side. So outdated in the tactics when it comes to marketing. It's unreal. And that's awesome because that presents this amazing opportunity for people who do take the time to learn how to market effectively using the tools we have available today and what consumers expect and want from you today. Great opportunity because most people are they're just going to be lazy and not do it. So I've been building that. I launched a Facebook ads and lead generation training program for agents and LOs called the Massive Agent Society. I did that back in April. That's been going well, and good feedback on that. But I'm just trying to build my brand, help as many agents as I can. Build my personal brand as best I can through the whole Massive Agent platform. And as you know, a lot of content is required to do anything. It's like the rite of passage to do. Like if you want people to know who you are, you better just like be everywhere. That's what it comes down to. You just have to be everywhere. And that's easier said than done, as you well know. But just a lot of that.
What's on the hat?
Industry Syndicate. Oh, well, then there's that. Yeah. So it's like, geez. So the Industry Syndicate.
I just saw it come out like in the last, I don't know, what has it been? Feels like 2 months. Yeah, a month. Yeah. And I have a million questions about what it is. But yeah, explain what that, I know you got some cool guys that are working around helping make that reality.
Yeah. So it was an idea that Jason Frazier and I had. We went to a Utah Jazz game it was before Christmas, I think. And originally I was thinking we start this media network of kind of like a podcast network, like a Gimlet or a Panoply or like what NPR does, how they have all these shows, right? And same thing with like how ABC and CBS and Netflix, and like they have all of their shows as a network. It's a very proven model, but I'm like, why don't we do that within the real estate industry? But at first I was thinking, let's just do the Massive Agent Network and have a group of other real estate agent focused shows be part of it, existing shows. And then eventually that can lead to whatever. But then Frazier was like, well, why don't we just do it for the whole damn industry? Like all corners of real estate, mortgage specifically, because that's where he comes from. He has a lot of contacts. And then we started thinking, well, real estate touches so many things. It touches staging, home building, interior design, real estate investing, appraisal, insurance to a certain extent. Like there's so many things that are in the real estate industry. And so we launched on January 1st, our industry's very first media network called the Industry Syndicate. And right now we have, I need to count again because we just launched a few more shows, but I want to say like 22 different shows, the top rated shows in real estate. We have the #1 appraisal podcast on the planet is part of our group. And these are all existing shows. We don't have any control over what they do and how they do it. They don't have any control of how we do it, but we're kind of linking arms and creating one central spot for anyone in the industry. It doesn't matter if you're an agent or, a commercial realtor, a stager, doesn't matter. If you want to find more relevant content, it sucks relying on the iTunes search. iTunes search is terrible for podcasts. It's hard for discoverability and to find out, to find shows that are like-minded or in line with ones that you already do like. And so we're creating one central spot, industrysyndicate.com. And pretty soon it's going to be the Industry Syndicate app where you can go and all in one spot, discover new shows, click to listen. There's going to be exclusive content created for our community as well. And it's just super cool. So to sum it all up, Bucky, the Industry Syndicate is the real estate industry's first media network of podcasts, Alexa flash briefings, and like Facebook Live and video shows. And we're just going to grow from there. And we've had amazing feedback and amazing traction in just a month. Amazing.
And besides that, you're still selling real estate?
Yeah. Can you believe that?
That's awesome.
It's never a dull moment.
And then I know you're also doing the Snap Pack, which is kind of what started it all as far as your whole media, coming out party.
Well, that's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, my coming out party. But you're right. Like you were there from the beginning with the Snap Pack Facebook group, and yeah, that it's such a great community of like-minded people that just want to become better marketers. They understand the importance of marketing in real estate, no matter what corner of the industry you're in. Marketing is everything in business. Like it's literally everything. You could have the best product ever. You could have the best supplement that cures people from unhappiness for life when they take one pill, but if nobody knows it exists, it really doesn't. Marketing is what gets people to know about what you do and what you provide. So it's just an amazing group for that. And you were there from the start as one of the co-founders, and it's been fun. It's crazy how it's evolved over the last 3 years.
Yeah, probably 3 years.
Yeah.
Started with Snapchat. It's grown into so much more.
Started with Snapchat. Do you still use Snap?
Not as much. I'm more on Instagram.
Me too. Yeah.
I have to really flex my muscle to push my thumb over to the Snapchat app.
I hate to say it, but the Snapchat app has moved from my home screen to like my fifth screen.
Oh.
I haven't used it in like 8 months.
Oh, man. All right. So let's dive in. 2021, Gary V's second year of having an event related to all things agents. One thing I'm like 3 hours into a 6-hour marathon, which by the way, you're on the marathon. I don't know if you caught that, but I sent you where I saw you.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's bringing together people from all types of industries, obviously a focus on real estate because there's a lot of agents out there that resonate with that term. But what drew you to Agent 2021, and were you there last year?
Great question and amazing event. So Gary Vaynerchuk, if you don't know who he is, just Google Gary V. Go to, you'll find out pretty quick who he is. He's everywhere. But you and I, and as have many others, we've been following him for a long time because he knows what time it is in our economy, in our society. He knows the correct way to market in today's world. And he just has a message that if you listen to what he's saying and actually do the shit, it works. And so last year, he and his team launched an event called Agent 2021. I was not there last year, unfortunately. And they brought together agents from 4 different industries. So real estate, Last year, they did not have mortgage. Last year, they had travel agents, real estate, travel, auto, and insurance, all industries with agents or salespeople, so to speak. And it was just a big marketing event where, Gary and, like last year they had Andy Frisella and Tom Ferry and who else? A bunch of people come and speak, really tactical, current, up-to-date marketing stuff with everybody there. And I didn't go, and I was pissed about it. So this year came around, and I knew I was going to go. They added mortgage to it. They got rid of travel, and now it was real estate agents, mortgage, auto, and insurance. And so I was planning on going, and then I actually was accepted as a speaker, which was amazing. So I got to actually speak at the event, which was like unbelievable, absolutely incredible that even came to happen. But it was probably the most impactful. It's not a conference. It's not like you go sit in a room for 8 hours. But it's a summit, an event. It was a marketing event, the most impactful one I've ever been to in my life. It was down in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium, which is where the Miami Dolphins play. And there was something about it. Just everybody there follows Gary Vee and kind of subscribes to his view of marketing and view of the world. And so everyone's like-minded, and you can feel that. And there's something about that, and just like the positivity of everybody too. Like, you didn't get this feeling of like, well, that's a bunch of horse shit, that you get at most conferences. Everyone is kind of on board. Everyone's like optimistic and happy and positive and trying to build a business. And, so it was just a really cool energy throughout the whole thing. And then Gary had a few amazing speeches. John Henry. Do you know John Henry?
No, not at all.
Go on Instagram and check out John Henry Style. This guy is amazing, and he's like 20-something. I think he's like 22. Maybe he's 25. But he did a keynote at lunch. I didn't know who he was before this, but he right now he runs a VC firm called Harlem Capital, but he started a business at 18 in Harlem, New York, cleaning clothes for movie production companies like The Wolf of Wall Street and, some other big motion pictures that were filming in town. And he kept growing that and growing that. But his story was so amazing about just not giving up. Even like you could be broke and starving, but if you're moving in the right direction, just keep going. Really, really impactful story that it might have been the most impactful one to me. But there was just so many great people there. So many. It's hard to sum it up, but like I think I took more away from this than any other event. And the stuff really stuck with me. Like, I remember it on a daily basis. It's not like most conferences where you write down a few notes. You're like, ooh, that was good. You write it down. And then a couple of days later, you've totally forgotten about it, because let's be honest, you're not going to go back to your notes. No one ever does. And the stuff just stuck with me. So
let's talk about your opportunity to get up on stage. Like,
oh yeah.
What got you there? Did you just like put your name in the hat and be like, I'm a cool dude and you should pick me? Or how'd you get?
Jeez, I guess you've been reading my emails, Bucky, because that's exactly what I said. No, but jokes aside, like that's pretty much how it happened. So, so our good friends, our mutual friends, Jason Frazier and Chelsea Pites, they applied to be speakers. I didn't even know that they did. I didn't even know that, they were accepting speakers. I didn't really think about it. And Jason and Chelsea were like, holy crap, we just got accepted as speakers for this thing. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, that's so cool. And I'm like, well, how did you do that? And he's like, well, I just, messaged the Vaynerexperience Facebook page and said, hey, I want to be a speaker. And so I'm like, I thought it was too late. When was that? That was probably like, I want to say that was like November-ish. And I thought it was too late. And I'm like, what the hell? So I reached out to Vaynerexperience and I'm like, hey guys, here's who I am. I have this podcast, check out my website, blah, blah, blah. And I, obviously talked myself up quite a bit and just threw it out there. I was like, I'd love to speak. I'm really in line with what you guys are doing. And that's how I built my business. I'd love to be a speaker. And they bit. Like, they emailed me back. They're like, cool, let's set up a phone call. Thanks for the information you sent. We like what you're doing. And like, it's one of those lessons that if you don't try, obviously you're never going to get it. I thought it was a long shot. I thought it was a Hail Mary. I'm like, well, let's throw my name in the hat and see what happens. It was not too late, not even close, but I just threw it out there and it worked. So it was amazing.
And can we catch that recorded somewhere? Is that like hour 5 of the marathon that I'm watching, or did anybody even record it, or did they? Was anybody there?
There were people there. Yeah. There were actually fewer people than I thought, but I thought that that made the event so much better because it was more intimate. It wasn't like a bunch of cattle being herded into a building. Like, some of these bigger conferences with, 3, 5, 6,000 people, like it gets to be kind of ridiculous. This was a lot more intimate and low key. And so you could take it in easier, I think. And the people you met, you were able to have more meaningful conversations with them because there weren't as many people. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. I haven't made it all the way through the recap video yet. The 6.5 hour mega vlog that you're talking about on YouTube. I haven't made it all the way through that yet. I know that they were recording. I know they were doing photos. I had someone record some video on my phone. I need to get that up on YouTube actually, of the panel that I was on. Jason Frazier was on the same one, which was pretty cool. Yeah, but I don't know if like the panel made it onto the vlog. I should probably find out. But the VIP dinner did.
There you were. I saw you. You even asked a question, I think.
Yeah. So let me tell you about this a little bit. I'm gonna divulge some stuff that maybe I shouldn't. But I made it into the VIP dinner, but I didn't have a VIP pass.
Ooh.
I just like showed up. Like, here he is. Dustin just got in. All right. And I'm like, well, I'm in. Like, I'm not going to pass up this opportunity to, to talk to Gary. I didn't know that a dinner was even happening. I just knew that they were having this little social at this hotel over in Hollywood, Florida, the night prior to the event. And I'm like, I just want to go see him and, maybe ask him a question, shake his hand, get a picture, whatever. And so I did. And then like 2 minutes after that, they whisk us into this dinner. And I'm like, oh my God, like, are there like assigned seats and I'm going to be found out? They were not. I was not found out.
But now it's all out there. Now it's all transparent on the internet. So
Yep. I totally growth hacked my way into that one.
Nice.
At least that's what I like to call it. But GaryVee at this dinner, he went to every table and sat down with everyone and spent like 20 to 25 minutes at every table. And so he came and sat at our table, and I was with my buddy Phil Treadwell. He's the host of the Mortgage Marketing Expert podcast and one of the Industry Syndicate co-founders. And it was me and Phil. Gary sits right next to Phil, and I'm sitting right next to Phil on the other side. And everyone else at our table is pretty shy. And so we just got to ask him about stuff. Like, we talked to him about the Industry Syndicate idea and that business model. We talked to him about like just dealing with the stress of running your own business and like, the frustrations of stuff not going your way and, all that stuff. It was just really cool to have it wasn't one-on-one, but it was really cool to just sit there and have like a low-key dinner with GaryVee. It was crazy. It was really, really impactful. And yeah, I got to ask a couple questions, and luckily everyone else at the table was shy.
So looking at Agent 2021, will you go back next year?
Hell yes. Yep. If they do it next year, I'm absolutely going to be there. It was absolutely incredible. Whether I'm speaking or not, I don't care. I'm going.
And then when you talk about how you now kind of live with the things that you learned, what's an example of some of those things that you're now putting into your business every single day?
Yes. The biggest overarching message that I got was that, well, and they're all kind of tied together. So the first one was, you've got to get over yourself and get out of your way. Like if you aspire to be somebody who's well known, who has an audience, who has a brand, like if you want to be successful with branding, you have to put out an ungodly amount of content as often as possible in as many places as possible. That's it. So that means some people are going to be squawking that, oh, what a douche. They're putting a photo of themselves on Instagram yet again, with a quote on it or whatever. And look, I know there's douchey ways of doing that, but like some people think that just getting in front of the camera and putting out Facebook Lives and doing another video and another post is egotistical. If you're not in marketing, I understand how it looks, that you're always in front of the camera, you're always putting yourself out there. But how are you supposed to build a personal brand without the person, without people knowing the person? There's only one way to do that, and that's just to be everywhere as often as possible. And so we've got to get past this. A lot of people, and even myself, I think to a certain extent, was worried about what other people thought of what I was doing, how it looked to other people. And so maybe I didn't do a certain video, or I didn't do a certain post, or I pulled back on saying something a certain way when I knew it would have been valuable, or touched the right people. But I was worried about someone else thinking that I'm a self-promoter, that I'm a douchebag, that I'm egocentric. You just got to get over it. Like, people are gonna think that stuff, and so what? That was a big takeaway. It just got me to just say screw it. Like, I've just got to put out a crap ton more content as often as possible and as many places as possible. So that really, like, even though we've heard this for years, like, we all know that, or no, we've all heard that, but do we really know it? And now I think I really understand it at a deep level, thanks to the conference. And another thing was from that keynote from John Henry that I was talking about. Like, his story was crazy. Like, he had reached a certain level of success according to what most people would define success as. You're somewhat famous on Instagram, you have a bunch of followers, you have a venture capital firm, you have a company that brings in millions of dollars of revenue, which, as you know, Bucky, as we all know, if you're in business, the revenue to the business does not equal income to the person. It's not that easy. Mm-hmm. So you could have millions of dollars coming into your business, but not be able to pay yourself yet. So he was struggling. Like, there were some days where he could only afford one meal that day. And other people are like, dude, you've made it. And so, like, he's battling this thing. He's like, God damn it. Like, I can't live. Like, my bills are all behind. I can't afford to eat. People think I'm famous. People think I'm rich. And, like, what do I do? And so he just kept thinking of that Instagram. There's this meme, and here, let me find it.
I found him on Instagram as well. He, yeah.
If you can see this on the camera, it's like, don't stop 3 feet from gold. It shows someone who gives up. They're mining. They're trying to get to some diamonds, and they give up and turn around. They have no idea that they're like a couple inches away from striking this huge thing of diamonds. And then on the top of the screen, there's someone who's he just keeps going. He takes another swing, another swing, another swing. And that kept coming to John's mind during these struggles. And so he just kept doing another post, another video, another interview, another day of work. And finally he got called by, I think it might have even been Gimlet Media, I forget. Somebody offered him a spot hosting a podcast for, what did they offer him? Like $7,000 an episode. And he's like, you know what? He's like, they're coming to me. I'm going to go big, see what happens. He's like, well, you know what? I'm holding out for 20.
He countered.
Yeah. He's like, you were offering me 7. I'm holding out for 20. And they said, well, how about 10? And he's like, deal. So he got himself 40 grand in monthly revenue right there from that. But if he gave up, that never would have happened. So it just, like, we're all fighting some battle or dealing with some struggle in some way in our lives. Whether it's frustration that things aren't moving fast enough, maybe it's financial or lack thereof, maybe it's a family thing, like, who knows? We all have something to deal with. Just keep going forward and keep moving, because eventually, if you keep making progress every day, it will happen. And so that was probably, for me personally, the biggest takeaway, aside from the tactical, just do more content. It gave me that inspiration that I needed to, like, take it to another level.
So now that you're back home, what's some ways that you're applying it from Agent 2021?
Just trying to figure out how to get more content out there. I've reached out to one of the tactical things that I learned from he was the moderator on my panel. His name's Matt Guerin. I think his title is the VP of Partnerships at VaynerMedia. Extremely wicked smart dude. And he recommended to everybody that like, if you have more content to put out there, obviously you can't do it all yourself. Like, I mean, GaryVee has a team of 30 that does his content. And even he says he's not doing nearly enough content. Like, that's amazing. So, you have to find someone to help. So this Matt guy recommended you try to find a high school student or a college student who's in graphic design or in video or something, who could come on as an intern or an apprenticeship kind of thing, possibly even work for free to build their portfolio, to start somewhere, build a portfolio, to then take it, and get like a bigger, better job. And so I've been reaching out, trying to find someone like that. I definitely need to bring someone on board to help with graphics and just more social media content, because I can't do it all. That's something that I'm implementing, and I'm just trying my best to prioritize each day and just be as productive as possible while keeping the end goal in mind of what where I'm trying to get.
One thing that I caught on, and I can't wait to watch the whole thing, but on this mega vlog, is Gary says all real estate companies will be marketing companies, and it's already over related to those that have the data and those that are going to be doing transactions a different way than they're being done now, such as Zillow and what they're putting in for structure. What's your thought to that? Every real estate company will be a marketing company, and the brand is the one that's going to win.
I think he's 100% right. The brand, absolutely. And there's a question of whether or not it's like, is it the brokerage brand or is it your personal brand? I don't think the brokerage is all that important. I really don't. I mean, if you're in the luxury market, sure. It might mean something if you come from Compass or The Agency or Sotheby's in the eyes of a seller who is older. I'm not saying old people, but older demographics relate more to the brokerage. Younger people don't give a shit. Like, they don't care. They'll work with the person. And most people just want to work with the person. So if you yourself on a local level, and even if your brokerage or your team does this on a local level, if you just get to be known as the local experts that people can trust, and because you've been putting out content and being authentic and showing who you really are, like behind the scenes, like laying on the couch watching a movie, or, your kids are playing out in the snow, making a snowman, like that's the type of stuff that lets people make a personal connection with you. It's cliche as hell, but people work with who they know, like, and trust. You cannot get to like or trust somebody without seeing who they really are, without some authenticity. And that's where the content is so key. So all the content is leading towards personal branding. And I agree. Like, if you aren't known, if you don't have a personal brand built, if you're just yet another realtor, yet another retail, I don't even know what you guys call yourselves. You're commercial brokers, right?
Yeah, a lot of people say commercial brokers. Some people are changing more to advisors. Some are sales agents.
Advisors, I like it. Yeah, but if you're just another one of them, if you're just another one, like, you're nothing. So, like, how are you supposed to compete with a Zillow or an Amazon when they come in and buy Redfin and just change the game overnight? Like, you can't, but you can on a local level. If you are the local celebrity, the local media company, the local influencer, and that's how you win. So I think Gary's 100% right. It's just a matter of, like, at what level. This industry is about to get absolutely crazy, because I think Amazon's going to come in and just buy. I think they're going to buy a Redfin or someone else and just be like, oh, we'll just sell your house for free now, and they'll make their money up on the mortgage and on all the other stuff they sell. Then it's over.
It'll be interesting to watch.
Oh, totally. Jason Cassidy? He's an agent in San Diego. He's one of the Snap Pack guys.
Yeah. Yep.
So he was on my podcast a few months ago, and the first time I ever really thought of Amazon buying Redfin was, he mentioned it. He's like, what's stopping Amazon from just buying a brokerage? And he's like, Redfin's probably the most in line with them. And it really got me thinking. And then just yesterday, Inman wrote an article about Redfin possibly being a target of Amazon, and the source is a Wall Street analyst. So this shit's about to get interesting.
Whew. All right. There you have it. Agent 2021, any kind of last takeaways, any thoughts that, you'd share with people that didn't attend? Because there's lots of us that did not.
Yeah. I would just reinforce and reiterate what I've already said, that, the only way to win in any business, like let's step out of real estate. Let's say you want to start a soap company, homemade soap. The only way that you can win is to become a brand, to brand yourself or your company in a way that people will pay. They'll go out of their way to work with you, to hire you, to buy your product over someone else's because of brand, because of the value that you've put out there, how you've positioned yourself in their eyes. We see it in, like, I have 2 young kids, and I see it all the time with like clothing companies. My wife's like, oh, look at these clothes. There's this brand. They do this thing. Like, it's just another clothing brand, but they've marketed themselves very well on Instagram. And now they're like that hot brand that everyone wants. It's just another freaking t-shirt, so branding is everything, and content, putting out a crap load of content is how you brand. And so do more of it. Figure out how to do a hell of a lot more of it. That's the biggest takeaway.
Awesome. Dustin, if people want to learn more about what you're up to, if you had to find you on any platform that you want to give a shout out to, where can we find you?
If they were forced to find me, if they had to find me, go to massiveagentpodcast.com. You can find me on social media at Massive Agent, on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And then, check out the Massive Agent podcast on all platforms. And then our Alexa flash briefing called the Massive Agent Minute. And yeah, if you guys hear me on this show, if you're listening to Bucky's show, you're already a friend of mine. So make sure you send me a message and just say, hey, I heard you on Bucky's show, and we're instantly BFFs.
There we go. Digital fist pound. That's how I do it here.
There we go.
Nice to see you, brother.
You too, buddy.
Thanks for joining.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon, Bucky.
See ya.
See ya.